I'd rather have Jesus. I do like I'd rather have Jesus. That's a good song. Well. Back again so soon, eh? Hey, it's Amy, the belligerent Bible worker, and today I want to tell you the number one reason your Bible worker will leave you. The number one reason is actually that her contract is up, but we'll be talking about the number two reason right now. So there are actually a few points that lead up to this big reason, and I'm going to break it down a little bit for you. Point A is that your Bible worker is not seeing any traction in her work in the church, and she's trying to get a movement started. One of the biggest things that draws people together long-term in relationships, friendships, romance is a shared sense of mission. And if your Bible worker doesn't feel like your church is grabbing onto the mission of saving souls, then she's going to get frustrated really quickly. Point B is that your Bible worker may be struggling with something that comes along with having your work and your spiritual life and your social life all coming from the same pool of people. It's really hard to separate that. So when your Bible worker has her day off, stuff about work is going to come up, or things about people's personal lives are going to come up, and so she isolates herself to avoid that and to have a mental break, but struggles with that, and that's a tough part of any ministry gig, I know, and that might be one of the reasons why a Bible worker doesn't last as long or doesn't want to stick around. Item C is that your Bible worker, plain and simple, may not have any of her social needs met. There can be a lot of reasons for this, none of which are that the church just doesn't care, but the church may not have planned for especially a single Bible worker's social life. She may have few invites, there just might not be people her age in the area, and maybe the ones that are married. I don't think this applies to me, but it has been known to happen. Point D is related to C in that the social aspects aren't taken care of, but specifically dating and romance is incredibly difficult as a Bible worker, and it's very frustrating. Even if there were people in your Bible worker's circle in church that she could date, it would be wise not to. What if it didn't work out and something went sour? Then you're struggling with all of these emotions while you're trying to work and serve in the church. It's just a bad idea. On the other hand, dating outside the church is equally terrible. It's hard for Christians, and it's extra hard, I think, for Seventh-day Adventist Christians because of the unusual commitment level to our message that our Bible workers will have. For me, I'm always thinking about ROI, return on investment. The more specific your requirements are, the less likely you are to find a match, and the more energy you'll have to put into finding somebody who fits you, even for a short-term dating relationship. Even the basic level date for a Bible worker has extremely high standards. You've got to find someone who is at least tolerant of your excitement about Jesus and the gospel and the mission of the church. You've got to find someone who's fun and adventurous but doesn't want to just drink and party. It can't be so casual that this person is just thinking that there's going to be some kind of hookup or some kind of physical benefit to them hanging out with you. And it can't be too serious, because if they were a Seventh-day Adventist Christian and committed, you would already know them. So it's so hard to find somebody that you can have sort of an adventure buddy without getting too wrapped up in stuff. So basically the Bible worker just ends up swearing off romance for whatever time period she's in your church. All of this together makes the number one reason why your Bible worker might not last, might leave you, and that's because she's lonely. There is a deep loneliness with not being able to connect missionally with people. There is a deep loneliness with not having people your age to hang out with and go through that phase of life together with. And there's a deep loneliness that comes with having to isolate yourself from people just because you're worn out and you love them and you'd like to hang out with them, you're just tired. The reason I'm bringing this to your attention is not so that you can call your Bible worker up right now and gush about how much you love her and that you'd like her to stay around. This is just so you can be mindful of her struggles so that when you're planning social activities for the next year, you can keep your Bible worker in mind. Thanks for joining me today. In the next video or series of videos, I want to bring a couple ideas to you about greeting and hospitality that will help you maximize evangelism in your church.